Well, it's not just the weather that can throw a wrench into your travel plans, as American airports face another disruption in this latest shutdown.
Yeah, so across the country, TSA agents are still reporting for duty at airports and doing so without receiving that paycheck. So while spring break travel for many just around the corner now, should you worry? Let's welcome in our travel expert and lifestyle creator, Anaya Richards, along with founder of Travel2.com, Mark Murphy. Great to see you both this morning. And I'll start with you. So this partial shutdown officially began on Saturday. We're 4 days in now. Are travelers noticing any changes yet at airports? What can you tell us?
Travelers are definitely noticing different wait lines, long lines at security checkpoints. This isn't a security problem, but they're definitely feeling the effects with long wait lines. Best to come early and be prepared. Preparedness is what can really help in this kind of situation.
Good advice.
Yeah, Mark, now the last time this also impacted not just TSA, but also the air traffic controllers, which really put things in a bind. So it's different this time. It's mostly going to be those longer lines, staffing shortages because of TSA. So when should you actually get to the airport now? Should you just, I'm one of those last minute people. I like to get there at the last minute.
Well, what I would suggest you do is check the My TSA app to look at security wait lines. I just did a scan of a bunch of major airports all the way out to the West Coast and to the East Coast. And to be frank, the delays are almost non-existent. They're very typical of normal TSA wait lines. It's basically 5 to 15 minutes at most major airports. So right now, it hasn't had a huge impact. What you have to worry about is the longer this drags out, you get more absenteeism from the TSA folks. TSA starts calling in, and if you look at past history, it's about a 300% increase when you have a government shutdown, no paychecks, and then people start calling out. Whether they're calling out of frustration or they're calling out because they're going to go drive an Uber to pick up some cash, we don't know. But again, it's all about how long this thing lasts. That's going to determine what the final outcome is going to be for individual travelers.
Yeah, because it's difficult to expect people to come to work when they know they're not receiving a paycheck. So Anaya, the acting TSA administrator, spoke in front of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Homeland Security last week, warning lawmakers of the consequences a shutdown would have, while recalling the difficult decisions that TSA agents had to make during the last shutdown. Take a listen to this.
During the recent 43-day shutdown, TSA personnel continued to report to work without pay and kept our operations running smoothly, ensuring millions of passengers arrived at their destinations safely and securely. While average wait times across the country remained within our established standards, TSA saw increased rates of unscheduled absences and localized spikes in wait times as the shutdown dragged on, and the cost of coming to work became more and more untenable for our frontline workforce. We heard reports of officers sleeping in their cars at airports to save money on gas, selling their blood and plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet.
Now, that lasted weeks on end. Again, we're only 4 days, and hopefully we don't go weeks. But she kind of laid out just some of what these people go through just to make ends meet, especially when they're not receiving that paycheck. So again, I guess we have to expect possibly very long lines if they stop showing up for work, right?
Yeah, and travelers do share sympathy for unpaid TSA agents. And so it's about reducing stress, and regardless of the larger situation, I think most travelers just need clarity, like what Mark said. Check your airline act, check pre-check TSA apps, and be patient and understand what's happening right now.
Yeah, Mark, so spring break right around the corner. I know many of us can't wait, and that's one of the busier travel times of the year. What should families be thinking about right now if they're looking out maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks to their spring break plans?
Well, I wouldn't basically hang my hat on this thing lasting, into that period of time. But let's say it does. Let's say it goes on for 2 months. You're just going to have longer lines at TSA. It doesn't affect the air traffic control, so planes will be getting up, flying. There's not going to be any issue with that. But whenever you have busy travel periods like spring break, and it's now spread over about the next 2 months, you're always going to have more delays, more cancellations. So I would always have a backup plan. If you can change your flight because you're going to go out on a cruise, get in a day ahead of time and give yourself a backup option of driving to the port if you see an issue with your flights. And I always recommend using a travel agent because those folks will give you that kind of advice at the time of booking. They'll tell you to go ahead and book that pre-stay for the cruise ship, so you're not chasing the cruise as it's running, as it's going off the pier, and you're one of those pier runners that we see that make for great TikToks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you both for your insight and advice this morning. And Anaya Richards, Mark Murphy, appreciate you guys.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, turning now overseas with